Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is محمد سيف. أهلا بيكم في درس جديد. درسنا النهاردة هو قراءة Chapter 11 في قصتنا The Queen of Death. اشترك في القناة وفعل زر الجرس عشان كل الدروس الجديدة توصلك. يلا بينا نبدأ درسنا.
Chapter 11. We've come prepared. Pharaoh had heard about Dr. Strengle. He knew that Strengle was a rich man and owned a large collection of Egyptian antiquities. Strengle pointed down at the body of de Vries. "What's been happening here?" he asked. "Keesing and de Vries blew open a passage into the Queen's tomb," replied Pharaoh. "Yes, we heard the explosion. It helped us to get here more quickly. Where's Keesing?" "He's still in the tomb," said Pharaoh. "He's probably dead." "I found your book very helpful," Dr. Strengle told Pharaoh. "I'm not a fool like Keesing. We've come prepared. No germs can get through these suits. Now we can take the mummy and treasure away before Inspector Salahadin arrives." Suddenly, another voice interrupted them. It was Keesing. He had come out of the tomb while they had been talking. Now he was behind a rock. He was pointing a revolver at Strengle. "You're not going to take the mummy or the treasure out of this tomb, Strengle," said Keesing. "I'm going to stop you." "Don't be a fool, Keesing," said Strengle. "You've been inside that tomb. The germs are in your body. You'll soon be dead like your friend, de Vries." "It was de Vries who was the fool," replied Keesing. "I didn't touch the mummy. It was de Vries who opened the case. I didn't touch it." "You've been in the tomb. That's enough," said Strengle. "You need help. I've got medicines in my lorry, and I'm a doctor. Come down, and I'll help you." There was a loud bang. A bullet from Keesing's revolver hit a rock near Strengle. "That suit won't protect you if it's got a hole in it," shouted Keesing with a laugh. Suddenly, there was another shot from behind Keesing. The revolver dropped from Keesing's hand. Keesing fell slowly from behind the rock. He rolled down the gully towards them. The driver of Strengle's lorry had crept up the rocks behind Keesing. The driver was not wearing a suit. "Keep away from here," Strengle shouted to the driver. "Go and get your suit on. It's dangerous here." Pharaoh remembered that he was in danger too. He moved away from the bodies lying on the rocks. Strengle looked down at Keesing. Keesing was not dead, but his face was turning black. He was in great pain. "Shoot me! Shoot me!" he said to Strengle. "You were right. The germs are in my body. Shoot me now. Let me die quickly." "You knew that you were dying, and you wanted me to die in the same way," was Strengle's cruel reply. He walked away, leaving Keesing turning and twisting in great pain. Strengle turned to the two men who were with him. "We can go into the tomb now and get the mummy, but we must be quick." "What about the radio message?" said Pharaoh, turning to Dr. Strengle. "What radio message?" "They're holding my wife prisoner in Cairo," Pharaoh explained. "If Greer doesn't get a call from Keesing before 7 o'clock, he'll kill my wife, and it's nearly 7 o'clock now." "I haven't got time for that," replied Strengle cruelly. He walked back to his lorry to get the equipment ready. They had powerful lights, spades, ropes, and steel bars. Strengle and his 3 men climbed up the gully. They were all wearing their protective suits. Pharaoh stood thinking for a few moments. Then he walked down towards the lorry. He would try to use the radio to speak to Greer. He had never used a radio before, but he had watched Keesing using it. In the Range Rover, Salahadin had also heard the explosion. "That's them," he said. "They're near." "The explosion was on the other side of that mountain," said the driver. "It won't be easy to get there." "Which mountain?" asked Musa. The driver pointed up to a mountain top to the east. "That's the mountain shaped like a sitting man," he said. "We'll have to get round to the other side of that mountain." "Let's get there as quickly as we can, then," said Salahadin. "The sun's setting now, and it will soon be dark." "It'll be dangerous if we drive too quickly," said the driver. "Drive as quickly as you can," Salahadin repeated. "If they take that mummy out of the tomb, it could be much more dangerous for everyone." The driver drove the Range Rover around rocks and up over hills of sand. The passengers were thrown from one side to the other. Half an hour later, they reached the entrance to the valley. The driver stopped. "We must be very near now," he said to Salahadin. "I've been in this valley before. There's a gully on the west side. It's below that great rock on top. The tomb must be in the gully." "Good," said Salahadin. "We can walk from here." They all got out of the Range Rover. The driver pointed to some tire marks in the sand. "We'll follow these tracks," said Salahadin quietly. They walked slowly down the valley. Salahadin and Musa went in front with their revolvers ready. The 3 policemen and the driver followed them. They found the 2 lorries standing in the valley. "Listen," whispered Salahadin. They stood and listened. A noise came from the back of one of the lorries. "It's someone tuning a radio," said the driver. "I used to work as a radio operator. I'd know that noise there." Salahadin walked up to the back of the lorry and looked inside. Someone was sitting in front of a radio with his back towards Salahadin. "Put your hands up and turn around," Salahadin said quietly. Pharaoh was startled and jumped up and turned round. Salahadin was ready to shoot if the man had a gun, but he recognized Pharaoh immediately. He had seen his photograph on the visa application form in London. "You're Pharaoh, Dr. John Pharaoh," said Salahadin. "What's going on here? Where are the others?" "Who are you?" asked Pharaoh. "I'm Salahadin El-Nur, a police officer." "Thank goodness you've come at last," said Pharaoh. Pharaoh quickly told Salahadin about the deaths of De Vries and Keesing, and about Strengle and his men. "Where's Strengle now?" Salahadin asked. Pharaoh started to explain about the danger in the tomb. Salahadin stopped him. "I've read your book, and I know all about that. Tell me about Strengle and his men." "They're in the tomb," replied Pharaoh. "But they're wearing protective suits, and they're protected from the germs. They're taking the mummy out." "They're not leaving here," said Salahadin. "The Queen of Death must stay in her tomb forever." "But how are you going to stop them?" "I've got men with me," was Salahadin's reply. Pharaoh then told Salahadin about the radio call to Greer. "I'll send the driver in to you," replied Salahadin. "He knows about radios." Salahadin hurried back to the others and told them what was happening. He pointed to the enormous rock that had fallen over the entrance to the tomb. "They've found a way into the tomb above that rock," he said. "They're going to carry the mummy down the gully. They're wearing protective suits, and they won't be able to move easily. That's where we'll be able to stop them." Salahadin then reminded them of the dangers of going too near the mummy. "Don't go near the mummy," he said. "Remember, if you touch the mummy, you will die a horrible death." Salah-ad-Din turned to the driver. "Go back to the lorry and help Pharaoh send a radio message," he said. "But do it cleverly. If the person in Cairo gets suspicious, he may kill Christine Pharaoh." Salah-ad-Din sent 2 of the policemen up one side of the gully. The 3rd policeman climbed up the other side. The policemen quietly took up their places and hid behind rocks. Musa climbed above the entrance to the tomb and stood in the shadow of a rock. The moon shone on Salah-ad-Din, who was standing alone in the gully.
وبكده انتهينا من قراءة الشابتر 11 في قصتنا The Queen of Death. شوف الفيديو التاني اللي فيه الشرح والأسئلة، وما تنساش تشترك في القناة وتفعل زر الجرس عشان كل الدروس الجديدة توصلك. سلام.